admin for 17th of November 2025, and the point of this video is to provide some sort of reassurance and a reminder and explain what goes on to members of Tac0 who are dealing with their celebrity. Okay? So, as this project continues, there are going to be people who are going to intentionally trying to latch onto it because it gets them attention. An entire thing that I've been talented at is being able to capitalize on my ability to get people's attention. And because of this, people are going to want to insert themselves into our project and into my life, or just tack onto it so it gives them some relevance. Now, there are a lot of incentives to do that, and the more chaos that they can potentially cause us means that there's more stuff that they can then gossip and talk about. This is just what it's like to be in the public eye, and that's what this life is about now. So with this is that I remind everyone that if you stick together with the project, we're going to be able to build lifelong opportunities for you, okay? And you're going to have a lot more overall than if you decide to split off and try and use your relevance that you've gotten from this project so far to build your image, okay? This is something that you're welcome to do if you don't want to be associated with our message, and I'd encourage you to do that if you don't want to be associated with what we're about, the charities, the ethical altruism. That's the core part of it. It's not, strictly speaking, I personally am a social democrat. This is not specifically a social democratic campaign. It's more about altruism and using what we know about people, how they relate to charity, and how they relate to propaganda, and marketing and these things, to be able to create large impacts and be able to sustain a message. Okay, so the overall project aspect of the business part of this is not going to be what's characterized as ethical altruism. So this is where we look at how do we most effectively turn money from the community or the government into results for the people. This is something which enhances those kinds of charities, and is tended to be advocacy for those charities. But what we are primarily is a marketing firm. Okay, we sell marketing, and this allows these other NGOs in the ecosystem to survive and flourish. Now, if you separate from it, you're going to undermine that. But the biggest thing is that you need to understand is that people are going to be messaging you on social media and trying to dissuade you from participating. And they're most likely doing this because as they do that, it creates a theatre, it gives them an opportunity to do something in public, and because it's also petty and political, and it's something which gets people's attention, they're going to have an incentive to keep doing that behaviour. So the standard response I recommend is that until we have consolidated, is to completely ignore any messages that you receive online which are of an adverse nature, and to just not interact with it. Because the more you interact with it, the more fuel you provide reinforcement to those people to keep doing it. So what you actually want to do is that you actually want to block them. This isn't to say that you shouldn't have thoughts about what you're doing. The people to talk to are your friends and family in real life. These are the people that you should discuss these matters with to make sure that you're making a good decision if you want to be part of Tac0. The decision is ultimately yours. Just don't put your ear to the internet and make a decision based on that, because the internet's a fucking cesspit, and the people I've had to interact with are unfortunately these cesspit cesspit dwelling, terrible fuckwits. Like, I don't know. I haven't created a good enough insult for it, but they're just they're gutter dwellers. They're terrible people, right? And I'm saying this as a person who has passed out in a gutter before and lives in a fucking homeless shelter, right? Like, these people are a level of nasty and despicable by their moral character, like, and it's so much worse than anything I'm seeing in my day to day. The people I live with, they're in the place they're in because they've had a bad lot in life. These people actively profit from people suffering, and they do it online as a vocation. They're terrible people. They're horrific individuals. And the solution when dealing with them is to block them and not give them any more fuel. Have a good day, everyone.